Hey girls, my name is Jordan Philbeck and I'm a Black Status presenter with Younique, and I'm so excited to share a couple things with you girls. You all inspire me, so I feel very blessed to have been asked to talk on a couple things today. And I want to cover, I'm such a note taker, so I have tons of notes here. I'm going to stay on track and be really quick because I know you're all busy. But I was asked to talk about having high PRS and building personally enrolled elites. That is, when I was asked, I was like, oh my gosh, how am I going to talk on this? Because it's just my passion and it comes very naturally for me. So to write down exactly what I do is kind of the way I want to teach you how I do that, and you can share that with your team. I know that we all approach things very differently and successfully, and so I just want to share those things that have definitely worked for me. Okay, so starting with PRS, I feel like from the very beginning until now, and when I hit my first time I hit green to the first time I built a green, there are things that I feel stayed the same for me. And one of those is high PRS. I say my average is about 8,000 a month, so I fluctuate between 5, 6, and 12. That's really the range that I'm in as far as my personal sales. How I get that? Yes, lots and lots of parties. In-home consults, I do a lot of those. Moving to in-home events, I try to do those every 6 weeks. I really try to have one on the calendar ready to go. I try to, at minimum, do 5 in-home consults a month, and at minimum now, I try to do 10 parties a month. Until I was Black Status, I was doing 20 to 30 a month, simply because I knew that was going to get me where I wanted to be. I work them very hard. I hostess coach like crazy. I'm very involved in the party because I look at that as if, it is so sunny in here, I'm sorry. I look at that as a way to truly build a network of people that love the product that I can then bring onto my team. Okay, sorry, I was getting blinded by the light here. Okay, so let me back up. So high PRS is very, very important for me. I do that through hostess coaching, having tons and tons of parties. When I say I hostess coach, I build relationships with those hostesses beyond just the party. I get to know them, and I have found that if I can get people to relate to me, I can then easily get them on my team. And that's why I say my PRS is in direct relation to my elite building. Attraction marketing is awesome. It is definitely something that we all do and definitely needed, and you want to recruit the masses, and I totally agree with that. But I have found to have more success with not cherry picking who I'm sponsoring, but truly building relationships with people that purchase product from me and following up strategically. So I have a follow-up system, probably very similar to you, but I am so strict on how I follow up because I know that that's going to get me a consistent customer that turns into a VIP person in my beauty blog that then turns into someone on my team or a great referral system. So then when I do get them on my team, I know them well enough to develop a relationship with them, to speak to them on why they would be wonderful at this opportunity, why they really want to pursue it past just a discount. So then I can continue to work with them and build them to an elite. So if you can see what I'm saying, it goes from, I don't ever want a one-time sale. I want a sale that then I can follow up strategically, build that relationship. They fall in love with communicating with me and being part of my life, and I fall in love with being part of their life, and it becomes this true relationship on Facebook. So let me explain my follow-up system. So if somebody were to buy a mascara from me today, I would follow up, I'd voice message them. I love voice messaging because I feel like they can hear me, they can feel my excitement, they can relate to me on a level more than just seeing me on social media. So I immediately thank them. 2 days later, I'm following up and I'm saying, if for example, if they bought the mascara, I would say, hey girl, here's some tips and tricks on how to apply this product, and here's a video. I always include a video of myself because I'm not the best at it. It's not perfect, but you know what? It's me, and they can see me and my imperfection. They can see that I'm just showing them how to get the most out of the product that they got. They can relate to me, and now they've heard me again, they've seen me in a video. Now I've added them as a friend on Facebook, and I put them in my beauty blog. So I run a VIP group, but I call it a blog because it makes it more personal, and nothing in there is perfect. And what I have found, I got asked yesterday from a couple live videos I did in different training groups, I got asked, so are you making these perfect videos? Are you making videos that are super edited? And no, the answer is no. I've gone live. I share pictures of myself. I do quick videos with my kids in the background. I make it very personable because the people in my beauty blog, in my group, are people that are like me. They can go find a YouTube artist or makeup artist that does amazing and perfect videos and they're super edited and very complex, or they can watch me learn how to do liquid eyeliner with them, and they can see my kids, they can see my life. I can share beauty tips and tricks. I can talk about drinking water. I can talk about exercise and how it's important and it plays into our skin. They can kind of go on a journey in life with me in this beauty blog, so they become more vested in me and trust me over time, so that one-time sale of mascara has now moved to a 2-day follow-up to now 10 days later. I'm going to voice her and say, hey girl, how you loving that mascara? It's a voice message, it's a question, and it's easy. So it leaves it in her hands to respond back to me. 74%, statistically they say, 74% of people will respond if they've been asked a question and it's short and it's one sentence. Okay, so that got me thinking, okay, so I need to be very simple. I need to put it in their hands. So then if they come back to me and they say, oh, I'm just not loving it, or I'm having this issue, I can capitalize on that before they've just written it off and they're done with it. Because we know shipping's about a week, okay? So they bought the product, gives them about a week to get it in their hands, gives it time for them to open the package. I don't look overly concerned about them loving it, but yet I'm there on, Johnny on the spot. I'm ready to help if they need it. So if they try the product once or twice, they have an opinion, I can quickly either reverse that or I can enhance that. So I can say, if they didn't love it, I can empathize, I can help them learn how, send them another video, offer to send them a different product to try out. That kind of gives me a segue into building a relationship. If they love the product, that is when I am voicing and I'm saying, oh my gosh, it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. I love it too. I'm so glad you do too. You know what my other favorite product is? And then I'll talk about it. I'll look at her Facebook, see what she's about. Is she an active mom? Would she love rose water like I do? Would she want that in her gym bag? I relate to her, and it's all voice message. So it's more personalized. It's not so much mass messaging. Then I follow up with the opportunity. If the opportunity is not what she wants, then I offer the opportunity for a party. I always give, and here's the thing when I'm offering parties, it's not a generalized, hey, do you want to have a party? It is, hey, I have an opening for a beauty bash on the 15th. Would you like to grab it and let's earn you some free product? It is very direct, it's short, and it's a question, and I give them a couple of specific dates. If they say no to a party, no big deal. I make sure they're in my beauty blog. I keep up with them, offer to send them a catalog, offer to, if they're local, that's when I move into, hey, come on over for an in-home consult. I'd love for you to see the new spring line. I can color match you, and I kind of move that relationship there if they're local. And obviously with events, I invite them, if they're local, to any event that I have every 6 weeks or so. Okay, so that is how I'm building my relationship, building residual buyers every single, most buyers will come back once a month or every other month depending on the product. I've also found if I can get people to a product such as a BB cream or a rose water and it becomes part of their daily routine, that they will definitely come back. And when they come back a second time, because I never take a no as a solid no, I take it as a no, not right now, but you know what? I'm still gonna offer it later on when I see that they're coming back for another order or they spend another $100 and I'm like, you know what, Sally, you could totally rock this business. I mean, even if it's just through the discount, I could help you make an extra little bit of money. So I still offer it, and I keep these notes very clear. So you probably will laugh at me, but I just print off an Excel sheet. I document everything handwritten. I have a folder for each month. So right now I have a May folder that I'm going through. I write down everyone that purchases. I check mark every time I follow up, 2-day, 10-day, 1 month, 2 month, etc. Any notes, any thing I learn about the person, I document that so that I can follow up effectively. Okay, let's see. So now how do I get to, that's how I build my PRS. Yes, I'm posting on Facebook, but follow-ups and a VIP blog, that is how I'm building my PRS. Okay, so let's talk about my elites. Okay, I get asked this question a lot. Am I just focusing on those people? What I've learned is, yes, I train the masses. Yes, I train my team. I have an overall team training group, but here's the thing. Most people don't care. We know that. 80% of our team is not going to do anything. 20% are, but when you aren't feeding what that 20% needs, they're not as excited as we are. So here's how I look at it. I look at it as I need to weed out and figure out who wants this. So I obviously have color block chats and color block groups and things like that. That's awesome. That is generalized training for the masses, and I can kind of find people that are moving through those things and help them. But what I have found is that I have to recognize who is really succeeding, who's posting, who's responding when I post a question. My personally enrolled, I'm constantly working with, but I always dig deep into my back office. So what I like to do is, I have found with my 11 personally enrolled elites this past year, I had 4 at convention, right before convention last year. I have had 7 new ones hit. And what I think is the underlying factor is they were a customer to me first. And I built that relationship through that strategic follow-up system that I talked about. And I truly cannot express how important that is. I think relationships is the basis of this business. They're not in love with, yes, the products are awesome and I love them, but that's not what they're in love with. They're in love with the relationship and the empowerment and feeling like people care and this sisterhood. That is what I have found for my elites is the most important. But when I find someone that I feel is elite material, meaning they are willing to do the work, here's what I say. So here's what I do. I message them and I just say, hey, look, you're phenomenal at whatever they're phenomenal at, and I tell them, I applaud them for all those great things, and I say, what do you want out of this? Can you tell me your goals? So it starts with goals. Most people respond back, oh, I'd love to be pink or blue. Awesome. Let's get you there. Can I help you get there? And they'll respond back, yes. And then I'll respond back and I'll say, okay, what does your daily task list look like? What are we going to do to accomplish pink or blue status? Oh, and their answer is usually, oh, I don't know. I haven't ever thought about that. And I say, can I call you? And so I get on the phone with them. Whatever I can do to have contact. If they're local, I meet with them and I get them a task list. I have notes, I have stuff everywhere, and I teach them that if they can make this business simple, they can be successful. Most people cannot ever get to green status because it's just too much. But I found with all my girls, if I give them a 10-step checklist and it's kind of a time management plan. So I say, what do you want to be? What's your goal? How are we going to get there? Have you thought about that? And if you haven't, let's talk. If you have thought about it, could you screenshot that to me? Let me walk through it. Let me see if it's touching on all parts of the business, because that is crucial. What I mean by that is this business is kind of like a circle. It's like a hamster wheel to me. And you either kind of move and the business kind of moves, or you run really fast and all of a sudden that thing is just going like crazy. So I teach my girls, it's not about just once a month doing one thing. It is about every day keeping that wheel moving. And we're going to do that by having a strategic 10-step checklist. Things on that checklist might be posting on our personal page, posting in our VIP blog. We're going to message X amount of people per day. But the checklist is going to align with the goals that they have in place. So someone that tells me, I want to be green status, that's awesome, but we have to have a plan to get there. So after we get that checklist down, the next step for me, goals and a checklist, okay? The next step for me, if someone said I want to be pink status, I say, perfect, I'm going to work with you every day. Are you willing to meet me halfway? Meaning I will give my time to you if you're willing to do the work that I'm going to offer you. And by the way, I'm going to do that work with you. Next step in that, number 4, would be that I'm going to put them with an accountability partner. So I have a sideline sister. I have many that I love to, talk to, work with, all that great stuff. A great sponsor that I like to talk to, bounce things off of. My elites are amazing. They're people they know if I needed something, or if they needed something, I'd be there, and vice versa. They are my friends. I know what makes them tick. So knowing what their goals are, knowing how they're going to do it, getting them an accountability partner, a pacing partner that is working for the same thing is very important. But knowing what makes them tick, I think that's the difference. Knowing that one girl it might be for the money, one girl it might be because she wants the confidence, knowing that maybe it's just to have a sisterhood of great friends as a mom of 4 or 5 kids and wants that sisterhood and wants to feel plugged into the world. So when you find out what makes them tick, and then you tweak that checklist to make sure it's meeting her heart, that she is vested in this business, okay? So having a plan, having goals, having a checklist is all great, but if it's not speaking to her, you're not going to get anywhere. So, and I could honestly tell you, all my elites will watch this video. They will all say the same thing. I truly care about why they want to be successful. And I could tell you right now why each of them wants to be successful. And it's very different for all of them. And yes, it's evolved along the way, just like it has for me, but my heart is with them. And I think the most crucial part past the why is when you put them with an accountability partner. Here's how I do that. So if Sally told, well, it kind of depends, but if somebody's wanting to get pink, so if Sally says, Jordan, I want to be pink, perfect. I'm going to find another girl that has either hit pink before, or she's working to re-achieve that, or she was really close last month and they both want to be pink. But I evaluate who I'm pairing them with. Maybe it's an age factor. Maybe it's their dedication to the business. Are they truly goal setters? Are they going to work alongside this person in a collective manner? So then I put them both in a chat. I voice message and I just say, hey, I'm so excited for you two. You're both amazing. I think this is going to be a wonderful partnership. Here's how it's going to work. You're going to friend each other on Facebook. You're going to get in each other's VIP blogs. You're going to communicate every single day because you've told me your goal is to be pink, and it's my responsibility to show you the way. Now you two have to put in the work, okay? So every day I'm going to communicate with them for a few days. I'm going to send them tasks. I'm going to say, send your map, send your plan, because I map out each team. Send your plan to this chat. Let's evaluate it. Let's talk about it. What is your strength? What is your weakness? Then I incentivize, and I don't do a lot of incentives. I really don't. But when I see someone working really hard, for example, if I have two girls working for blue status, I tell them about mid-month in, I'll say, hey, look, if you both hit blue, you're going to get XYZ. It might be a business boosting gift, business cards, sample containers, a display thing for in-home consults, something that will benefit them. It's specific to their need and where they need to grow. If you both hit it, you're both going to get it. If one of you hits, nobody does. And here's why. So then I explain to them why. The reason is, that's great if you can do it, but we're here to partner together. We're here to succeed together. We're here to encourage each other, like each other's things, and post. Anytime we post, we want to like it, we want to comment. We want to be each other's best friend in the business, because you know what? They're going to stick around when they feel important, when they feel vested in the business. When I wake up and see a message from one of my sideline sisters, it's like it's excitement. It's a breath of fresh air. And when I have a bad day, I can say, look, I'm struggling. Here's what's going on. Help me through this. Or, I see them at a training. I see them at Most Powerful Women. I see them at convention. And it makes you feel like you're needed. Like there is a purpose for this outside of just making money or posting on Facebook, that there is a sister counting on you and you would never let her down. So that has been key for me in growing elites. The next thing is, here's what I do. So I have two current girls working for green status this month. So here's how I tackle it. Prior to selling Younique, I'm a mom of three. I didn't say that earlier. I'm a mom of three kids, 5, 4, and 2 now. And they keep me very busy. But prior to Younique, I was working on my PhD in human resources, and I started my second year. My husband got a job transfer to Tulsa, so I stopped my PhD. But my last class I was taking, and I was co-teaching along with one of our professors, because I was teaching undergrad courses. He taught a course on developing businesses, and the course, long story short, was a lot of businesses view it as we need a top down, or some businesses view it as bottom up. So there's I don't want to say conflict in consulting. There's not really, but the most successful way to develop a company, and I look at my greens as kind of another company to develop, is when you do it by a department rather than going top down or bottom up, is to go department to department, because then they feel empowered. They feel invested in the change. So I think that is so true in this business. So when I look at my next green, I look at her as a whole. So if you were to go through my little binder here, I have each girl mapped out. And I don't know if you can even see that, but I have each girl mapped out. And I know everybody understands mapping, but here's the thing. Instead of looking at it and saying, okay, Sally, you want to be green status. I want you to sell 5,000. I want you to recruit 3. I want you to have 5 parties. Great, that's telling her how, but at the same time, you have to make sure she knows how to do those right. So instead of just saying, here you go, Sally, top down, you go take care of your team, what I like to do is then look at how I've mapped her team out. If I see somebody's working for blue and one's working for pink, for example, I then say, okay, Sally, I'm going to find you a pacing partner for your pink that's outside your company. I'm going to find you a pacing partner for your blue outside your company, because 2 leaders minds together. So if Sally and maybe one of my new greens, they could become pacing partners. I pair their girls so they have 2 leaders ultimately over these plus me. And then I've got these girls working for goals, plus I'm breaking it down. So then I'm going to go to the bottom. Let's say that Sally is working very closely with her personally enrolled. I'm going to kind of dig deep and find a couple girls that had decent PRS, and I'm going to go empower them. I'm going to praise them on social media. I'm going to find out how they tick, and I'm going to challenge her. And I might say to this girl that's saying, oh, I just want to hit yellow, I might say, hey, look, I've got something for you. I want you to have a sideline sister, and if you can sell 500 PRS this week, I'm going to send you some business cards to boost yourself. I know you're new in the business. I want to get you moving. Oh my gosh, that might be the best thing ever for a new presenter. So I'm kind of hitting on the top and the bottom. I'm lifting them up, empowering them. I am congratulating their leader on pushing for green. I am partnering people up. I'm making sure that I'm speaking to them. So I talk to my elite and I'll say, hey, what makes so-and-so tick? What makes her tick? Okay, she is self-motivated, but she needs the money. Perfect. Okay, so I'm going to pair her with someone. If they both hit that status, I'm going to send them a Starbucks gift card for $20 so they can take somebody to breakfast about the opportunity next week, or whatever it might be. So I don't just push my elite and say, okay, go train your team. What I like to do is really break it down and show her, look, if you coach, you let me kind of go in here every few days and encourage and challenge, send them a task and really work with them, we're going to get them all there. All their goals are going to be met so that you hit green. So I kind of look at it again as that wheel, and it's just, everybody's got to be moving rather than just me giving advice to my green status. So that's how I've done it. Then when I have somebody hit blue or green, I put them in a certain chat, and I call it a superstar chat. When I get them to a green status, I put them in my personally enrolled elite group. I let them become better friends. They become very vested in one another. We talk every day, all day. We plan together. We share our maps together. We share our goals together in that chat. And it's a huge sisterhood. Not one of us would give up because we all need each other. So that's kind of how I feel like having strong PRS gives you people to follow up with. You build those relationships, you nurture those relationships, you get those people on your team, you already know how they tick, you pair them up, and you create a company, you create an elite, you create someone that feels empowered, that feels like she's having her needs met. And I'm constantly working and digging and building that team so that team always stays green. So I'm always nurturing that team. Meanwhile, I'm looking for my next set and I'm pairing them up, and it just keeps on going. So that's kind of how I did it. I hope this makes sense. It's a little bit longer than I wanted. I wanted to stay under 20 minutes, but I hope that helps. If anybody has any questions, please let me know. And thank you so much for letting me be part of Thursday Tidbit. Bye, girls.